That's so good, but I don't recommend drinking it right after brushing your teeth. Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm so glad you are here. So I'm going to talk today about why I am over Goodreads. I'm dumping it for the new year, and I've honestly kind of already started to dump it despite it not being a complete year, which is kind of bothering me. But keeping up with multiple apps is annoying. So we'll see how that goes if I end up finishing the year on Goodreads. But I have a lot of reasons, and I also have some recommendations for alternatives. Some of these I've mentioned in the past, but I'm going to tell you exactly which one I've chosen to focus on and why. So let's get started. Okay, so I feel that for quite some time, there wasn't really a good alternative to Goodreads. It was kind of one of the only reading trackers out there that had every book on it, that had a way to be social with people, and a lot of people who read had it. You know, it was very easy to find your friends on it, and once Amazon bought it, it became even easier to kind of connect your Kindle books because they were automatically connected as long as you used the same email address. And it just simplicity, it was all streamlined. But now there are so many other options out there, and it's just not keeping up with the other options that are currently available. Basically what I'm saying is it sucks. While it still has an occasional feature that it's got so many books that you can pretty much find whatever you want on it, so that's good, I guess. But overall, it's just not doing what it should be. And first and foremost, it's Amazon. And it's cool that some connections, some features work a little better because you don't have to actually physically make them connect. As mentioned, with your Kindle, your notes will automatically, from your Kindle book, will automatically pop on over there. But at the end of the day, that's such a small thing, and it's just not worth it. The interface is awful. I mean, I never really thought about it too much until I started looking at other apps, at other websites that do kind of similar things, and it's just not good. It's not cute. It's not pretty. And I mean, I've used Goodreads heavily for probably the past 5 years. Before that, I wouldn't really keep track of my books, but I would use it to look up book reviews and such. And the interface has gotten no better. It's pretty much the same exact website that I was using in 2015. So I'm sorry, you're run by Amazon. You have all the money in the world. Fix this. So many people use this, so many people rely on it, and it's just bad. It's just bad. I also feel half the time I'm getting error messages. And for a while, I thought that was just because I was using the app. I would say a good 85% of the time I'm using the Goodreads app on my phone, which is horrible, but I was willing to kind of cut it a break. But this morning, preparing for this video, I was looking at Goodreads and I was getting error messages on my computer. And I was like, well, if this is not a sign from the gods. So yes, it's not good. I understand that Amazon/Goodreads is a business and they need to make money, whatever. But my Goodreads page is covered in ads. And it's not even books. I'm getting ads for purses, for random thing I thought of and looked up 2 weeks ago. And I get it, but it's still frustrating. And I think as a consumer, I'm still allowed to have opinions on it and not being a fan of it. Even the books that they advertise on there, again, they're books that they have on Amazon, Prime, or not Prime, First Reads and Kindle Unlimited, and it's could you focus on maybe tailoring books there if you're trying to sell them to me that I might actually like, because you have literally access to everything I've read in the past 5+ years. So it just feels like they could be doing better with that, and honestly, it's just pretty annoying to scroll past ads constantly. I do that enough on websites where I am not actively trying to purchase something. I don't need to be doing it on this one. One of the things that I used to love about my Goodreads page, and also about the end of the year kind of wrap up situation, was the stats page, and seeing different stats about how much I've read, and pages and book numbers and authors and whatever. But I don't know if I just haven't looked at it in a while, but it really, if you want to look over time, it really only shows you the number of books read, the number of pages read. You can sort by publication year, and then books over time and pages over time, which is really just like a bar graph or a line graph with like the up and down. So unless you're looking at your like year wrap up, I know you can see like your first book reviewed of the year and your last book reviewed of the year, whatever. But like those aren't the kind of stats I'm interested in. I would like to see how many books of each genre I've read, if there is a book that or an author I've read more of, if there is how many stars was like my average rating, or what was my lowest rated book. Like I want to see all of that stuff. I like stats. It's just it's barely worth even looking at. It's just not that in depth, and other apps are kind of, you know, coming up and filling the gap where Goodreads is failing. I was planning to make a whole video about this next point, but I'm going to just go ahead and drop it here. I am thinking I might start a online book club in January for the new year, and I was looking at different options. What's the easiest way to do this? And Goodreads is so bad. Like, I know that a lot of people do use this for their like book clubs with, you know, internet groups, but I can't. I don't think this is going to be for me. Just so it's so basic. There are so many better options out there, and I feel like that's where a lot of stuff comes down to, is it's just not competitive, and the only edge that Goodreads has is being affiliated with Amazon and kind of being the first of its kind, so that's what most people use. There's honestly, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It has features, but I just think other people are doing it better. So, you know, there's that. And if you think you'd like to join a book club with me, I would love it if you would like drop me a little emoji of a
one eternity later.
Purple heart, because I do love a purple heart. So drop that down if you would possibly be interested in doing a book club on a different app that we will talk about in a little bit. And the last thing about Goodreads I want to say is that it's not all bad. I really do like their listicles when I am making, you know, videos about upcoming releases and stuff. I use a lot of those resources to kind of see what's new, what's coming out. And, you know, if you're looking for a very specific like genre, whatever, they have good options. They have a lot of books on there, so you can find something. But to me, that's like kind of something I'll still like go look at it for, but it's definitely not going to be my main source of tracking my books. So if you want to quit Goodreads, there are lots of options, and I just want to highlight a couple real quick before I get into the one I'll be switching to. So there's Bookly, which is a really good app. It's definitely focused more towards like you personally. This isn't, if you're like a social reader and you like to share that with your followers, your friends, and you want to be able to see what they're reading, whatever, not gonna probably be the best choice for you, only in that it's just very, very much not social. I don't even know if there is a way to like have friends on there. It's a really cute app though, and I really did enjoy using it for a while when I did use it. However, I like that social aspect of book trackers, so wasn't 100% for me. There's also Storygraph, which is very similar to the app I'm using, but it's not as pretty. It's not as nice to look at, I don't think. I think it's a little bit more difficult to navigate. It's black and white, like every page. I don't know. For me, it was just a little too difficult to navigate, and have a short attention span, I guess, and I like wasn't willing to put in the time to like really learn the app because it just didn't appeal to me. But a lot of people have switched from Goodreads to Storygraph and they absolutely love it. So it's definitely come highly recommended. It's just not my personal taste. There's also Basmo, which is very similar to Bookly in a lot of ways. Not quite as social, but I will be quite honest and say that I have not used this app, and I haven't even had it on my phone for like over a year. So it may have improved, but it's, you know, if you're looking for options, it's one to take a look at and see if it's for you. Okay, so my favorite, and this is not sponsored, there's no affiliation, whatever, I just love it, is Fable. And I just talked about this in a video talking about like the best apps that I've found for book lovers. I did another video of that a long time ago, but this was an updated one, and this is so good. My husband actually, like, I think saw this on the App Store. He's not really a reader. He was like, check this out, and I love it. It is so great. It's bright, it's colorful, is way more heavily focused into the social parts, and by that I mean it's like Goodreads in that way. It's not like Bookly, it's not specifically for you. You can of course tailor it, just don't add any friends on it if you don't want it to be social, but I think that's a really fun part of it. You can also track TV shows and I think movies. However, that's not something I do, so I don't know a ton about that side of it. But I know that it's cool, and in the way you can make book clubs on there, you can also make like TV show clubs, so you can discuss particular episodes and stuff, which is pretty cool, especially if you're going like to watch an older show for the first time, because you can have discussions while it completely avoiding spoilers. Much like Goodreads, they do book giveaways, which I know would be a hard thing for a lot of people to leave Goodreads for, just because they do so many of arcs and of books that are older, but you know, maybe being re-released and such. And so that definitely will transfer over here. It's not, you know, quite as big, but they definitely do giveaways quite a bit on Fable. The stats are crazy. I will put it right here, but the amount of stats that are there, the number of like ways you can filter, it is just so cool. And they do this like thing that they update every now and then where it kind of like gives you a summary of like you as a reader, and I think that's so cool. They have figured me out so well, and I absolutely love that. Another thing to note, that if you are looking to make the switch but are a little like, you can import your entire Goodreads history into this app. So, and it's like 5 seconds and it's done. Not 5 seconds, 5 minutes and it's done. To me, that made the switch so easy because I just didn't want to like lose all of that history or have to manually enter it, which I just wouldn't do. So then I would just lose all of that history. But no, it does it for you. It transfers it all right over automatically, and you know, to me that was like, okay, sold. I already did mention it, but the book club community area is so easy to kind of read, easy to navigate, to get into, and I love that like you can't, the book club part of it, if you are, you know, there's different things for each chapter, and if you haven't marked that you've read that chapter yet, you can't open that tab. So I think that's really cool. You're definitely helps you avoid accidentally being spoiled. And, you know, it's like so specific that you can talk about whatever. And, you know, it feels silly. I've done like a Goodreads read along sort of book club thing, and it'll be like chapters 1 through 6. And something happens in chapter 1 that I'm like speculating on, but I'm like, I'm kind of embarrassed because if I'm totally wrong, like the next chapter, I'm gonna feel like an idiot. And I get that that's kind of a me problem, but there's no worries about that with this because everyone is in chapter 1 and is reading it at the same time and hasn't gotten to the next thing yet. If they have something to say, like, they're gonna also say it in that first section. Hopefully that makes sense, or at least you can understand what I'm trying to say. But I get self-conscious about that kind of stuff sometimes, so you don't have to worry about that, because the next chapter is just an entirely new thread. I will say the one and only thing that I've found that I don't like about Fable, or that I could see a place of improvement, is that it has over, you know, 1 million books and all of that, but occasionally I will find a book that I'm reading that's not in there, mainly because a lot of books that I read haven't been released yet, and so they are just haven't been loaded in, and there isn't an option to like create a new book. You have to send a request to, there's a place where it's like, have it added to the library, and you click on it and you enter like the title and the author, and I don't know, anything else, that might be all, but and then they like, you know, will maybe go at it. I haven't had to do it, so I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that that's a thing, that you can't just like create a book or whatever, which I can imagine would be, you know, a little frustrating if you're just trying to track your book. But to me, it's, unless you're reading like super, super obscure titles, you're not gonna have to worry about that, because even a lot of the arcs that I read are in there already. So as you can see, there are a lot of options. Whatever you choose, I support you. I would love it if you would join me over on Fable. Please, if you do, go be my friend. I will put a link down there. Again, I don't get a kickback. There's nothing in it for me, just your friendship. So, yeah, please, think about the things that I've said. If you want to keep using Goodreads, by all means, that is your prerogative. But there are other options out there if you want to start to veer away from Amazon. I know it's a little bit unavoidable as far as they have the best prices on things. They are very convenient, whatever. But if you want to do, one thing to support Amazon less, this could be it. And there are other options out there. So thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!